Arman Tsarukyan might be Islam's biggest challenge yet. Oh my gosh, what a performance by Arman Tsarukyan last night in the main event of UFC Austin, where he knocked out Beneil Dariush in one round. I'm your host, Blaine Henry, and this is episode 260-something of the Fight Library. Anyways, so today we're talking about UFC Austin because what a card. Holy crap, we had 2 slam KOs. Moral of the story there, let go of a submission when you get picked up. Jeez, I mean, you think we'd learn this by now. Like, don't hold on. Rose Namajunas got slammed. The Rampage slam, let go, people. Goodness gracious. So we're going to start at the top. Beneil Dariush and Arman Tsarukyan, because why not? That's the big fight, the big name, and good googly moogly. Arman Tsarukyan looked amazing. So we know Beneil Dariush has 2 weapons, overhand right to get to his clinch and a left kick to the body or up top. He is a southpaw, so right hand forward. Left kick is the power kick. Arman knew this, so he said, no sweat. Let's bet. I'm about to take you to the vet and put you down. I made that up off the top. Off the dome, I can come like that. So that left kick from Benny starts coming very early, and Arman Tsarukyan's like, okay, no big deal. Let's go. I know what's coming. It's coming to the open side. So like in a southpaw versus orthodox matchup, you've got, it's a little bit harder if you're fighting the hand. So there's 2 things you got to worry about. That high kick coming from the open side this time, which means his right hand, so Arman Tsarukyan's right hand should be defending against the left power shot from Benny instead of from the right side as he would against an orthodox fighter. So you got to say, am I going to brace here? Are we going to roll with it? What are we going to do? Because you also have to hand fight. Battle of the lead hands is very important, and we saw that in this fight too. The lead hand was one of those things. We'll talk about that again probably with Jalin Turner versus Bobby Green, because that was another southpaw versus orthodox matchup. So Tsarukyan, he starts parrying down Benny's jab. I'm like, okay, so we're parrying and we're making sure that's a priority because we're trying to go out there and get the job done and get out of here real quick. I didn't realize how real quick Arman Tsarukyan had in mind. Wow. He's parrying down Beneil Dariush's jab. That's what I like to see. That's creating an opening. If Benny drops his hands, then it's like, all right, I've got a shot for my lead hook. So the finishing sequence, we don't get to talk about this long, but the finishing sequence was Arman Tsarukyan piecing together something wild. Now, Jack Slight pointed out that this is something that Dariush did to Edson Barboza, which is really cool, kind of. But Arman Tsarukyan comes 1-1-2, so jab, jab, cross. Benny dips his head, so Arman grabs collar tie, boom, knee. Some people say the knee landed. I don't think it really did. Beneil lifts his head up, and Arman Tsarukyan, right hand over the top, lands clean. If the knee didn't put him out, the right hand did, because googly moogly, he was on one leg, generating that kind of power. It's like Kevin Holland knocking out the Wash Jacare off his butt. Wow, what a statement from Arman Tsarukyan. He showed everybody, I'm that dude, I'm top 5, I'm Islam Makhachev's hardest test. Point blank. Like, there's nobody. Just Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira. None of these guys are a tough test for Islam Makhachev. It would have been Alexander Volkanovski if we decided to wait, but we didn't. We gave him a short notice fight. Gamrot could be a tougher test for Islam, but I don't think he's anything like Arman Tsarukyan is. The reason I say that is in 2019, Arman Tsarukyan took his UFC debut. This kid is a gamer, came in to fight Islam in his first fight. And by 2019, we knew what Islam was about. He was like Khabib with better striking. Arman Tsarukyan is about that life. Wow. So he loses to Islam. And I think it was a short notice, like a 2-week notice fight. I'm like, all right, I mean, I get it. You deserve a shot. And he made it close. This was kind of the first chink we saw in the Dagestani dynasty's armor. They can be swept off the butterfly. They're very susceptible to that because they're pushing their hips forward and their shoulder forward. Saw it with, what was his name? I just said his name, Alexander Volkanovski, in the first fight where he managed to, Islam Makhachev got in on the hips, and Volkanovski used the butterfly sweep from reverse Z-guard. We did a video about that, a little short one. And he managed to sweep. We saw it, a couple times. I think Saeed, which one's the small Nurmagomedov? We saw it against them. So yeah, this is something that they're susceptible to, and Arman worked it out first. 2019. What can you say? They looked invincible up and before then, obviously, aside from Islam getting caught and knocked out. But we don't talk about that fight. So, next fight, I have 3 options. I like the Islam fight off the bat because the rematch is there. I like the Justin Gaethje fight because that's a number 1 contender fight, bona fide. And I also like the Mateusz Gamrot fight for Arman Tsarukyan because he beat. So technically, Mateusz Gamrot beat Arman Tsarukyan, but a lot of people, not myself, I kind of hold that fight as a draw in my head, even though you can't score a fight without a 10-8 or draw. It's just that close. But yeah, that and Gamrot was the backup for Islam when he fought Volkanovski, but he got passed over because I don't know. I don't get it. Yeah. Anyway, so great fight by Arman Tsarukyan. I like the Islam Makhachev fight. Again, the butterfly sweeps is something that Makhachev kind of shown that he's susceptible to. Arman Tsarukyan is showing us that I have power, guys, and I'm not afraid to use it. And he did. I mean, to generate that kind of power off of one leg is crazy. The Gaethje fight's interesting because Justin Gaethje is real good at stopping the takedown. He's got decent takedown defense if he's not fighting Khabib Nurmagomedov. But Arman Tsarukyan is going to need to get in there and get him to the ground because he's not going to want to stand in front of Justin Gaethje all fight. Even Rafael Fiziev, who is a Muay Thai, I think he fought in the stadiums. Even Fiziev couldn't handle Justin Gaethje. Now, Gaethje mixed in the takedowns. Arman Tsarukyan's not going to worry about the takedowns like Rafael Fiziev did. So yeah, I'm bullish on Arman Tsarukyan. As you could tell by the title and the picture, I think he has the best shot to beat Islam Makhachev. I think Gamrot has a decent shot. I thought Benny had a decent shot to beat him, but Beneil Dariush can't get it done. Lost against Oliveira, lost against Arman Tsarukyan. You're not going to get a title shot that way, dude. You got Dustin Poirier, who doesn't fight contenders. Michael Chandler has been stroking Conor McGregor for over a year now to get that fight, and that fight's probably happening. So yeah, there's those 3 guys, and I'd like to see. The reason I didn't mention Oliveira is because the UFC very obviously, after his first win over Benny, after Benny's first loss, Beneil Dariush's first loss to Oliveira after breaking his streak, you got to give it to Oliveira. He's the number 1 contender, so I didn't count him in there. I'd like to see, Arman Tsarukyan fight on the undercard of Islam Makhachev and Charles Oliveira whenever that fight happens. Let's do it. You got Ramadan coming up, so we're gonna have some time off for Islam there. But yeah, so let's do that fight, man. Let's have Arman Tsarukyan get a fight against either Gamrot or rematch or against Gaethje. Ooh, I just thought about something. It's become apparent that Mateusz Gamrot, he's a one-trick pony on the feet. He's not going to be able to get Tsarukyan down, and when he does, it's going to be super scrambling. Tsarukyan gets up. Tsarukyan should just keep that fight standing. He'd beat Mateusz Gamrot down standing up. And then there'd be one less contender for Islam Makhachev. Same thing goes with Gaethje, though. Beating Gaethje is one less contender that's backing out everybody else. Dustin Poirier is not going to get it off of getting knocked out over Justin Gaethje. So yeah, Arman Tsarukyan's 1 fight away from a title shot against the man who beat him. And Islam beat him because he short notice. Arman Tsarukyan gassed out because of the short notice nature of the fight. He had to cut weight quick. So yeah, good fight. I think Arman, I take him favorably in that fight for sure. or not really. No, I take Islam favorably in that fight, but Arman's the best shot that we have so far. So let me wet the whistle real quick with a little lemonade. Crystal Light, probably not the best for you, but whatever. Jalin Turner and Bobby Green. Shoulder roll. We talked about the shoulder roll with Ryan Garcia. You can check that video out. It's a really fun video. We talk about how bad he looked against Oscar Duarte. Bobby Green loves the shoulder roll, and he was supposed to take on Dan Hooker, which would have been a great fight. Dan Hooker broke his arm. We can't have a fighter fight him with a broken arm. That's how you lose. That's how you get brain damage. So in steps Jalin Turner. Probably it sounded like he was under duress, like the UFC didn't give him any chance to actually say yes or no to the fight. Bobby Green starts, he starts off by lunging off the jab, which I'm like, okay, Jalin Turner's long. You know how to fight long guys, you say, so let's see it. Jalin very early throws a 1-2 that Bobby Green shoulder rolls, and he's like, I'm dusting that off my shoulders. And Jalen's like, yeah, you're playing checkers, dude. I'm playing chess. I just read you, and it's not much longer for you. Green started doing the oblique kick to the knee, which I was like, okay, we're trying to hurt Jalin Turner now, aren't we? But, with Jalin Turner having such a unique set of physical gifts, he is 6'2", and he's fighting at 155. What? He's long, and he uses his length very well. He's really good straight punching. So Jalin Turner started busting out the double jab after he's getting these oblique kicks. And the reason I brought up the oblique kicks for Green, let me circle back for a second. When a guy's longer, you have to find a longer weapon, and a side kick's probably going to be the longest weapon you have. It's not going to be the best weapon you have, but it's going to be one of those ones that kind of, you could extend the range and get something done there. So Jalin Turner's like, yeah, those kicks, they hurt. I'm long. You landed nice. But, bro, I'm longer than you, and I know how to use it. We used to make fun of Steph and Struve for being so long for even heavyweight and not knowing what to do. Jalin Turner knows what to do. He did a couple cool things where he comes across, he's pivoting out. Say Bobby Green's going to stand there and try and back out straight. It's like, okay, you're going to back out straight. We know what to do. We're going to land straight punches. Jalin Turner looks for the 1-1-2 that misses, and he exits at the angle. He lands 2 hooks as Bobby Green's leaning back with his hands. So Bobby Green's like, oh, I got my hands down. My shoulder roll, bro. You're supposed to keep your right hand up, and you're supposed to roll. So your shoulder right there, your right hand up there. He leans back. He's like, oh, it's a shoulder roll. And Jalin Turner's like, whop, whop. 2 hooks, and Bobby Green kind of stumbles for a second. He knows his length. Jalin Turner is a freak when it comes to the length. So, yeah, great. 1-2 that misses, and Bobby Green's like, oh, he's off my head. He's taunting him the whole time because Bobby Green's famous now, and he needs to put on a show. He's an entertainer. And then a 1. Bobby Green throws a 1, or Jalin Turner throws a 1. Bobby Green backs up. Probably doesn't sound good that I'm backing away from the mic, but yeah. Anyway, so Green backs up, like, oh, you're not going to get me this time. I know the right's coming. And Jalin Turner says, psych, here's another jab. And Bobby Green reacts to it like it's a cross. And then Jalin Turner's like, gotcha. Lands a right up the pipe that wobbles Bobby Green and eventually falls. Then the referee wanted Bobby Green to die. Jesus Christ, he took such a beating, and like the commentator's like, call the fight. This is terrible. He took a beating, and there's like, I want Bobby Green to die. I want Bobby Green dead. They let him go out cold. Like, geez, that ref should never work again because that was kind of, that was rough. Let's see, what was next? Deiveson Figueiredo versus Rob Font. Oh, Jalin Turner won first round knockout, just like Arman Tsarukyan. Deiveson Figueiredo and Rob Font. This is Deiveson Figueiredo's bantamweight debut. He looked really good. Rob Font's tough for anybody. He punches straight, but he doesn't quite know what to do after that. So he'll build off of it, and he'll hurt some people with the right cross, and it's like, yeah, this is beautiful. He did a couple stance switches. I'm like, okay, Rob, I see what's going on here. But Figueiredo's just Oh my goodness, he's just such a good fighter. He's 35 now. He wasted so much time. People forget, like, Deiveson Figueiredo's entire reign at flyweight had been embroiled in rematches that shouldn't have been, and everything. So, like, you know, he didn't win the title, but he fought for the interim title and missed weight against Joseph Benavidez. And he knocked Joseph Benavidez out. So there's like, oh, well, we got to run it back now. Joe B got to get another shot at the title for 1,000th time. And Figgy makes weight, and he knocks out Joseph Benavidez again. And that's the one where Joseph Benavidez, like, was knocked out cold. He woke up, screaming. It was pretty nightmarish. And then he fought Alex Perez, which was a fun fight. Then he had the 4 fights with Brandon Moreno. So he's been involved in rematches ever since we can remember. He's 35 now, which is ancient for a flyweight and a bantamweight. But he came out there and did his thing. So he managed the distance really well, which against Rob Font, somebody who's going to throw a lot of jabs and right crosses, you got to know your distance. And he knew it very well. And he would land some kicks to Font's lead leg because Font's so heavy on his lead leg. That kind of crippled Font. But it was very clear that he wanted most of all the takedown. He would snatch up a couple singles and he would get it. So there's a point in the fight. Let me see. When was it? Let's see. I'm looking at my notes right here, guys. I don't remember. He basically picked up a single. That was Sean Brady I'm thinking about. But anyways, so he picked up a bunch of singles and stuff. So great win by him. Managed to go out there and get the decision. He had that beautiful moment where he hurt Rob Font at the end of the fight. And then he had that beautiful, just that right hook to the body. I love that right hook. It's just like the meanest right hook you can imagine to the body. And he throws it with bad intentions. I love it. Last fight I want to talk about, Sean Brady took on the ghost of Kelvin Gastelum. And Gastelum looked absolutely horrible in his return to 145. Sean Brady literally just styled on him the entire time grappling, and it wasn't even close. He utilized the crossface a lot, and eventually third round got the Kimura. So, great win for Sean Brady. Not a very valuable win off of the ghost of Kelvin Gastelum, but he got the win. Obviously people talk bad about him after the Bilal Muhammad fight. I think that fight goes very differently if they rematch. They won't, because Muhammad actually does deserve a shot at either number 1 contender or a title shot. So, yeah, Sean Brady, a couple more wins. He gets into the title picture. Kelvin Gastelum needs to just hang him up. Just like Beneil Dariush probably should hang him up right now. Yeah. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to cut it here. It's been about 15, 20 minutes almost. We'll catch you next week as we're talking the Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington fight that's coming up. We'll be breaking that fight down after it happens. It's going to be fantastic. I'm out.